Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, there's been a lot of headlines going through a lot of the legacy media and a lot of the mainstream guys out there, the access media, saying that superhero fatigue is here and that's the reason all these movies are failing. That's why, you know, the Marvels, it ended up, which was supposed to be a Captain Marvel 2 movie, well, it failed miserably, and why it lost $1 billion, well, it lost hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office. And that's why this underperformed, and that's why that underperformed. That's why these television shows that are failing on Disney Plus over and over again. It's superhero fatigue. People are just tired of seeing superheroes. Yeah. Now, I think the majority of us that are actually paying attention and are, you know, superhero fans or, you know, fans of comics or just kind of anything that's a little out there, a little bit fantasy kind of stuff. Because the thing about it is, it's not just superheroes that are happening, right? We also see fantasy shows failing miserably as well. You can talk about Rings of Power. You can talk about Wheel of Time. There's other sci-fi shows that have failed over the years. I mean, the last season of The Expanse was just absolute an abomination. There's been a lot of other examples of that. So it's not just superhero fatigue. It's just superhero was kind of the predominant one because Marvel made such a big splash. And it was like they couldn't help or stop themselves from making a $1 billion movie every single time they put something out. Well, those days are far gone, and it's not superhero fatigue, boys and girls. We know what it is. It's bad movie fatigue, right? They're using a lot of obscure characters that nobody really cares for. The writing is very poor. The CGI is absolutely abysmal. They rewrite their own lore and screw up canon and within their own timeline. So it's an absolute mess. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that's going to absolutely end up being a dominant proof of concept that superhero fatigue is absolutely not a thing in any way, shape, or form. If Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and its $850 million worldwide box office was not enough to prove that, well, ladies and gentlemen, Shawn Levy, the director of the Wolverine, Deadpool, and Wolverine movie that we are getting here very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the next $1 billion movie at the box office, rejects this idea completely and totally whole cloth and says people are way too quick to jump on this bandwagon, and I completely and totally agree with him. Now, whether or not his reasons are the same as ours out there, the ones that we have come up with, the legitimate criticisms that we have had against these companies and against their stories time and time again, no matter how many times they tried to hide behind walls, accusing us all of being racist or homophobes, all the other nonsense that never ever holds water, because at the end of the day, they can accuse people like me and way bigger critics out there than myself that try to say that it's our fault that things are failing. And at the end of the day, boys and girls, even some of the biggest among us only have 2 or 3 million followers. That doesn't account for the tens of millions and the hundreds of millions of people who have rejected this nonsense and don't go see these movies anymore. We aren't a big enough factor to stop a $1 billion industry unless we're just the voice of a giant, massive amount of people out there who say nothing online, who say nothing on social media, but simply have walked away from your bad storytelling and characters that they're not interested in. Well, once again, Deadpool and Wolverine is going to prove that superhero fatigue is not a thing, and it's simply bad storytelling fatigue. So we're going to share this article from Bounding into Comics. We're going to get into all the juicy details, see exactly what Shawn Levy has to say here. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already. Help us grind and grow and keep it our way, getting towards another 800 subscribers and or followers. We know what platform you're on. And if you'd like to help support the channel, because we are a completely and totally fan-funded show, please check out the links in the description down below how you can help us keep this machine moving forward. So, from Bounding into Comics by our dear sweet Spencer, Deadpool and Wolverine director Shawn Levy rejects the idea of cinematic superhero fatigue. People are way too quick to declare the last rites of the superhero genre. In adding his voice to the ongoing discourse, Deadpool and Wolverine director Shawn Levy has dismissed the idea that the general movie-going audiences are currently suffering from superhero fatigue. The seemingly last hope to save the Marvel Cinematic Universe from complete failure offered his take on the superhero genre's current struggle with speaking with Entertainment Weekly's Nick Romano in promotion for the upcoming crossover film. Rather than delve straight into the topic, Levy began his thoughts by discussing the overall concept behind Deadpool and Wolverine, explaining, "With the character of Wade, especially in combination with the character of Logan, I saw that story beyond the franchise value. which is how you should go into it. These are character-driven stories. They always have been. And that's the mistake when a lot of this corporation nonsense gets involved in. When they corporatize these studios, whether it be Marvel, whether it be DC, whether it be anime, whether it be manga, whether it be video games, whether it be any of that kind of stuff. When you corporatize this stuff, when you break it down to this mathematical equation, and marketing has the biggest issue with this, right? Marketing is what's responsible for this, because marketing, it used to be, the job of marketing was a creative came to you and hired a marketing firm. And I went, I have this product that I've created that I think's good. I'm going to pay you money to sell it. You look at my product and you sell it to the world. Well, now the problem is because this marketing stuff has become in-house, because all these corporations don't want to pay outside firms. They want to do everything themselves so they can control it better. The problem is now the marketing has become a dominant force. Now marketing is telling what creatives to do. Marketing is telling creatives what will sell and that's what they have to do. So instead of having character-driven stories, you have marketing-driven stories. And when your marketing is gone completely and totally insane and does not see the writing in the room, you're going to fail not only creatively, but from a marketing standpoint as well. And that's why you see them losing over billions of dollars at the box office. Billions of dollars on these failed streaming shows, whether it be Star Wars or Marvel. It's the same reason you see the comic industry failing as well. Because they have put all of this nonsense over character-driven stories. And if your characters don't have any substance, you're going to end up having a very, very poor story as well. So at least he's coming at it from the right idea. And because of Ryan Reynolds' influence in the market right now, these guys got to do whatever they wanted over at Disney Marvel with little to no influence from the corporate execs or the marketing. Because guess what? Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are the marketing for the movie. And you just need to let them do their thing. And no one needs to tell them a thing. And clearly, that is what's working. Have you seen the pre-sales for this movie? You have Wade Wilson, who is like an impetuous motor-mouthed child in a superheroic man's body. And you have the laconic, largely nonverbal, gruff Logan. On the surface, they're completely different, which is what makes them a perfect comedic duo. And yes, there is no doubt about that. If you've seen it in the comics, if you've seen it in the video games, if you've seen it in even some of the animations out there, these two are the perfect yin and yang for each other. They are absolutely hilarious. And to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, two people who absolutely embody these characters in their minds and souls and in their actions. And yes, Hugh Jackman is too tall to be Wolverine. But other than that, these guys are perfect for these roles. Ryan Reynolds was born to be Deadpool. I don't think there was a single other character he was ever truly meant to do or anything that he had ever embodied as well as this. That's why these do so well, and that's why this movie is going to, a rated R movie, is going to make $1 billion at the box office and prove all of the doubters completely and totally wrong. But they're both haunted by regret. And there's a darkness and a sadness and ultimately a solitude to both these heroes that also makes them anti-heroes. They're not necessarily the good guys. They just do good things. From there, Levy dived into the film's myriad of cameos, explaining that while fans may be wary of such Easter eggs given their overuse in recent years, Deadpool and Wolverine team didn't want any of the cameos or characters to be the story of the movie. But they appeared in throughout. There's a lot of characters. The internet is the light of rumors from the multitude of characters and cameos that are in this movie. Some rumors are true, some are way off base. Continuing, Levy further noted, White himself is a fan, without giving anything away about the various universes the different characters live in, because he's in some ways fawning over motor-mouthed little fanboy himself. It allows the movie to call out and reference a ton of deep-cut Marvel references, which has always been one of the best parts about Deadpool. He was self-aware, breaking of the third wall. In light of Levy's willingness to lean into the very genre trappings, thanks to recent over-abuse by lazy writers, have led some audiences to completely tapping out of superhero films altogether, the director was then pressed by Reynolds on his thoughts on the concept of superhero fatigue. Marvel has had some misses. See, this is the thing. He doesn't want to be critical of the company he's currently working for, especially when their marketing's out there. That would not make the Disney executives very happy, now would it? So he has to be careful about what he says here. Marvel has had some misses. You think? Just one or two. But people are way too quick to declare the last rites of the superhero genre. I don't buy into that fatigue narrative at all. And that's simple. That's exactly what it comes down to. He doesn't buy into it. Why? Because he knows it's not true. Can he come out and say that the last few Marvel and MCU projects, whether it be on television or whether it be at the box office, have been absolute disastrous flops because they're not character-driven stories and they don't stick to the lore, they don't respect the fans, and they don't use the characters properly? No. I'm sure in private conversations, Shawn Levy has probably ripped these Marvel movies more than one time. And now he's going to walk in the door with his big old stick and he's going to swing it around with Wade Wilson and Hugh and Wolverine, like their Logan, next to him on the sides going, whoa, boy, what do you think of me now? What did you say about superhero fatigue? No, it's bad storytelling fatigue, and it always has been. The hero's journey is an immutable and unstoppable and proven time and time again story element. You have a character with flaws who is tasked with an issue that is seems insurmountable for him. But through hard work and through a driven character development and good storytelling, you believe that this character can grow and become stronger and overcome these insurmountable odds. That's not what we've gotten. We've got a storytelling by the numbers, whether it be the check boxes for the diversity requirements or it be a bunch of check boxes from the marketing, both of which are probably the same thing. When you try to tell a story from that kind of perspective, it fails. And it will continue to fail every time. It doesn't matter if it's the horror genre, it doesn't matter if it's the fantasy genre, or if it doesn't matter if it's the superhero genre. At the end of the day, all fans want is good stories. You give us those, we'll make you rich. And then when you piggyback on top of already well-established characters and you stay true to them and give the customer what they want, it's successful. If you don't, well, we'll make shame great again. We'll laugh at you, ridicule you, we'll criticize you, and we'll sit back and go enjoy all the independent stuff. Because we don't need you. We never have. We are not just consumers that are going to eat up whatever slop you throw in the trough. We're critical-minded, we're smart, and we're wise to your BS. And Shawn Levy knows what works, and so do the fans. Which is why Deadpool and Wolverine will make $1 billion, and all of the rest of the Kevin Feige do-it-by-the-numbers marketing nonsense will continue to fail miserably. Burn, Disney, burn. You did it to yourself.